And what happens at the invocation ceremony? Diya jalta hai. And to light the lamp, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to invite on stage the Queen of Cognizant EIM. Please put your hands together for the beautiful Srija ma'am, everybody. Come on, let's put our hands together. She's going to be introducing and inviting the other dignitaries on stage. Let's keep the applause going for the lady, everybody. Come on. Welcome, ma'am.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming today despite all your busy schedules. I'll call on Radha, Sriram, Arun, Sarvanan to come on stage to light the lamp. Suresh also. Suresh is visiting us from Kochi. So please do come on stage. Gentlemen, Radha, if you could stay back and what are we going to say? We need a mic. We'll start. I thought you were going to start. We'll start. So, Radha, this time we thought we'll do something different from the regular speech. We thought we'll do a question-answer format.
Something different meaning, is the profitability going to go up?
I wish it was that easy. And so what the folks requested was they would want to know more about you. They've known you as a practice head, but they would like to know about your early days. So there'll be a question-answer kind of format, more like a coffee with Srija, which is that we had the coffee outside.
So where is the coffee?
We had outside.
Oh my God.
So we'll start with the first question. Everyone knows you as a practice head, but we'd like to know about your early days and what got you here so far, and what do you do outside of your work?
Early days, I was a boy and still a boy. That's a very big achievement, isn't it? So just maintaining that boyhoodness, that's a big achievement, right? So, well, I'm not sure I completely got the question. So it looks to me like it's a fully loaded question. So Yeah, that'll be good.
Okay. So, tell us about
This is just requirements clarification, guys. Don't get.
So tell us about yourself, apart from what we know you as,
Okay.
and what do you do outside of your work?
Okay. Good question. So, can we go on to the next question?
From there.
Oh, okay. That looks familiar. Okay, so I, like each or most of you guys, I, also started my career in programming, and not with my full heart in. So I was not. I strongly believed I was not cut out for being in IT. So for me, IT happened as an accident. I just took it along the way. So I wanted to do several other things. And if I have to list down what all things I wanted to do, it is a big list, which probably something that I should avoid. I actually went and talked to my dad in 12th standard. I said that I'm not cut out for even basic graduation degree. I was so fascinated about the mechanical shop that was next to my house. The guy still gives me a dirty look because he used to be my classmate till 10th standard. He dropped out and started repairing automobiles. And I was very fascinated. I thought I could partner with him and someday become the next TVS Sundaram Iyengar, or the man who kind of created Ferrari type. So that was a dream in 12th standard. But of course, like every other parent, my parents wouldn't allow for me to do that. So like most of you guys, I did my computer science and I took to photography very early stage. Some of my work, I think somebody has done a good job of going through my site. That's not bad. So I took to photography at a very young age, but couldn't focus on that because of all the other compulsions, wanting to do IT and so on and so forth. So 1992 turned my wheels of fortune, if you will, and came into IT. And it's been a non-stop journey since 91, 92. So I started my career as a database programmer and then went on to become a systems engineer, mostly doing database kernel work. At various stages of my career, there are a few guys here who would have partnered with me from my younger stages of life when I was in programming and so on and so forth. So that's where it was. So software professional turned, if you read my blog in the about section, I think it's empty right now. I'm still updating some of the sections. In the previous version of my blog would have had an about me section, which clearly highlights why I was hating information technology. But I have to come to terms, and I think meeting a lot of folks like you guys, on one hand a lot of envy and jealous. How come these guys are able to do so much that I could not? And that probably drove a lot in myself, and I think here I am. Not a bad story, at least.
It's a very successful story, and
Hopefully.
So, just adding on to that, just wanted to understand, what is your tips to the millennials on building a successful career, especially now that you've got so many choices?
I think just listen to your heart. That's all we did. Money is definitely there, fortune is definitely there, and I think everybody chases that. But I think I think if you start chasing your dream, whatever you pick up, it's a very motherhood statement. Sometimes questions force you to use those motherhood statements as well, right? So we don't have a choice. So I think just listening to your heart, and I'm sure till your graduation, you wouldn't have been able to do that. Most of us didn't want to do engineering, right? I'm sure most of you will agree, right? But we were all compelled, forced. Maybe competitiveness in the marketplace drove us. But I think at some point in time, you got to listen to your heart and try to. I take a lot of inspiration from photography, and off late I've taken into some birding, wildlife photographs, going into deep forests and things like that. That's actually motivating me a lot, right? There are days which are extremely stressful. There are days that goes 20 hours, 22 hours on conference calls. But then the waiting that tomorrow morning 5:30 I'm going to go to some exciting jungle and I'm going to shoot some birds. I mean in the camera, okay. So. Right, so then that keeps me motivated. That's something that I look forward. I think try to balance yourselves, and a lot of people will advise you that strike a balance between your personal life, professional life. While they all keep telling you, they don't teach you how to do that. So that's something that you have to find yourself. And I think I found a sweet spot. I have no regrets. I've worked hard, I've partied hard, and I've pretty much done whatever I wanted to do. So from that perspective, it's completely balanced. So just listen to your heart, nobody else. But when the project starts, listen to me.
Yeah, and this is a practice question. Do you feel euphoric about the EIM 2014 performance? And how does the outlook for 2015 look?
Yeah, you're euphoric in some sense. In terms of the overall performance. See, back in 2012, when we spoke to Gartner, we said that we want to be the gold standard of EAM in the EAM landscape. So we wanted to be recognized as a leader in this space. Leadership definition definitely differs. Everybody has their own style of defining what leadership means. But from a practice standpoint, we wanted to be the gold standard. If the analysts, should the analysts recall the top 5 names in the industry, we wanted to be right up there. And that journey was extremely painful, extremely stressful, because in some sense, it's not creating a magic; it's discovering the magic that we all had. So get the best out of the folks and be positioned in that slot took a lot of effort. And I have to say, I'm euphoric, and I'm very elated and glad that we are in that position today. Gartner has rated us in the top league, and Forrester has rated in the top league. There is no better endorsement when our clients talk to me. Whenever I go and meet them, they say that they actually ask us, you've been in the top 5 in the Gartner stuff, you've been in the top 3 in Forrester stuff. What next? So that makes me wonder: are we, is there a platinum standard now, going from gold? So that's something that we need to work on. So that's a stupendous achievement, and I'm sure all of you have to pat yourselves on your back. It's not one man's choice. It's just a leadership trait. I think everybody has displayed that. So that's the pinnacle of the practice today. So in terms of 2015, we are very well poised, right? As you guys know, that most of the H3 technology, there is not a single H3 play. There is not a digital play that does not have EAM included in that. So 2015 and beyond, we see a lot of traction in the digital play. EAM has a big role to play. Be it be analytics, be it be cloud, be it be cloud to cloud or Internet of Things, the Malcolm Franks, the code halos, whichever way you look at it, EAM has got a bulk of its play. So I strongly believe 2015 is well set for us. We recognized back in 2012 the importance of moving towards a very strong H3 model. We started experimenting with big data. Back in 2012, when everybody was just writing on papers, we had a practice in big data of about 50 to 60 people. Today we are about 300 to 400 guys in big data. We, pure big data services, we crossed $1 million run rate this year, right? Which is a significant milestone, right? So there are several big things, and I think we would like to carry on all of them into 2015. We also recognize that being a $1 billion practice, there are several things that we need to do right. One is to create we are a company within a company today. So from that perspective, having a solid leadership team and the organization structure is very, very important. So we've early on recognized the need for us the CXO structure, and we created back in 2013. January, we had our CIO as part of the practice. Most of you know ENN as a site. We all keep writing on the site and blog. So EAM News Network, which was the initiative from the CIO organization. So now we have the CIO, we have the Chief Delivery Officer, and we have our CTO now. Chief Technology Officer has joined. Sarah has joined us recently. Very soon we should be having a Chief Operating Officer. So we are moving towards a corporate culture in ourselves. So that's a significant structural barrier to beat. So with all that in play, I am reasonably confident that 2015 and beyond is in good hands.
Exciting times, and I'm sure everybody's looking forward to working on something new, and we'll definitely do that. Before we proceed, can we have a caller mic for Radha?
No, this is fine. If you guys can hear me, this is fine. It's okay? Yeah, I think everybody is saying yes.
So this is the last question, and it's a rapid fire round. You have 60 seconds to answer 10 questions.
My coffee is still not here.
Coffee we drank, rather. Tea, rather. So 60 seconds, 10 questions. Do we have a timer? I'll start. No, I have to wait. Okay. I'm starting. Favorite book?
Favorite
Can't think so much.
My God, this is the toughest question, sir. The C programming language by Cunning and Rashid.
Favorite sport?
Sorry?
Favorite sport?
Favorite sport is hockey, followed by table tennis, followed by shuttlecock.
Favorite actor?
Favorite actor is John Travolta,
Favorite actress?
Meg Ryan.
Okay. Favorite song?
Favorite song is a Tamil song from the film Maunaragam. I will leave it at that.
Favorite color?
Favorite color is black.
Black. Favorite season?
Favorite season? All around the year.
No, no. Okay,
Done.
we'll still go with the next three. I couldn't time it right. The favorite spot in the universe?
Favorite spot in the universe? Any pub that opens on a Sunday, 11 o'clock.
And one thing that you cannot live without?
One thing that I cannot live without, possibly my iPhone.
Okay. Favorite book was interesting.
Favorite book that was interesting. Any book that's in somebody else's hand when I'm traveling so that that person does not talk to me.
Okay. And we'll leave the audience with your favorite quote or a poem or any two lines.
Favorite quote or a poem? That's very difficult to say. Possibly can remember one thing from Napoleon. Don't stop your enemies when they are making the mistakes. That's probably the good quote that I had. So,
Thank you, Radha. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And we look forward to you being throughout the evening. Thank you.
thank you guys.
You'll be called once more on stage.
Thank you very much, ma'am and sir. Let's have a big round of applause, everybody. Come on. One thing you can't live without, iPhone, not the wife phone, I see. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get on with this evening. Of